author, Peter Treadwell, attempts to explore the different, factors that affect the language. He starts with the
Go ahead.
social class, ethnic group, sex, context, social interaction, nation, and today, inshallah, we are going to explore the eighth one, which is the language and geography. Actually, I need my classmates' participation as well. Okay, so as you can see here in this slide, what is the relationship between language and geography? Let's make it simple and clear. We need to know what is the relationship between language and geography. If anyone can participate.
Yes.
I would prefer to hear if Abdullah Umar can start.
What is the relationship between language and geography? This is a question that he's raising to you. Anybody who'd like to answer? I just wanted to attract your attention, so we make sure that you hear him. Yeah, Abdullah.
Yes, I can participate. Why not? I think in the first chapter, which I did a presentation about, I found a term called regional dialect.
I
think it belongs to the issue of language and geography.
All the examples are given about the English language. Though some of them were about the European languages.
This is what Abdullah thinks.
The Arabic language is not involved in this chapter. So let's ask a question about the Arabic language, our mother tongue actually. What do you think about the Arabic language and the geographical distribution of its speakers? Let's take the phenomena of greeting, for example, for saying كيف حالك, how are you doing? Okay, is it spoken the same in all the Arabic varieties, or it is different, like in the Egyptian Arabic and the Sudanese Arabic? What do you think about this point? Okay.
They use it differently again.
Probably Afnan wants to say something.
Yes, can you hear
You
me?
want to... Afnan?
Okay, can you hear me?
كل يوم system ما شاء الله.
Well, I think geographical factor.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Afnan. You have the mic?
I think
No,
that geographical factor
is
really affected the Arabic language.
Yes, we can hear you.
As the example that's mentioned by Jabir, greeting.
Yes, please.
It's very different. For example, in Egypt, Syria, here in Saudi Arabia even, it's different from region to another.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Afnan. Thank you very much. Actually, there is a assumption that there is a relationship between the altitudes and the phonology of a certain language. So could you please listen for this just for a moment?
Okay, thank you.
Then we will carry on. Yes, doctor, it's not clear? You can hear nothing, right? Okay, so I don't know how to solve it, but
we cannot hear anything, Ya Jabir.
The sound clip actually emphasizes the point that there is a kind of
No, it's not. We didn't hear anything.
Between the altitudes and the
Yes.
phonological aspects of the language. So let's move to the next slide. Terms and definitions. I hope you can hear me, Doctor. Very good. Okay. So these are the terms that are actually going to be discussed and are involved in this chapter. As you can see, the first one is linguistic innovation.
Yes, we can hear you.
What
Go
is
ahead.
meant by linguistic innovation is like a new word or a new pronunciation or a new usage. So let's talk again about the Arabic language. There is a study by Yasser Jum'ah in 2015 about the Saudi youth slang innovations. Actually, Yasser mentioned some examples about these, let's say, it's not linguistic but slang innovations that are used by among the Saudi youth. He mentioned some of them like intelligent person. It is referred to in Arabic Saudi youth or slang that Mustafa. So Mustafa refers to intelligent person. Ajwadi means generous, and Sanat means reliable. So these are some linguistic innovations that are used in Arabic language between the Saudi youth, according to Yasser Jum'ah. Another term is dialect leveling. Refers to the process whereby differences between regional dialects disappear over time. Also, there is another study conducted by Yusuf Al-Rajai in 2013 on the regional dialect leveling in Negro Arabic, the case of the application of K sound in the Qasimi dialect. He found out that there is a dialect leveling that occurs actually among the younger people, that they are shifting from the sa sound to ka, like in the Arabic sentences كيف حال to كيف حالك. So this is another example about the Arabic language. The third concept, as you can see here, is colonization or yeah, this is actually according to the researcher.
And my mother wouldn't like that.
More than the other people.
On what scale? It depends, when we look at the scale, what scale, who participated in it, in which area? Because we have varieties of female addressee pronoun in Arabic. Many varieties, and it's not only the Sa, it's other varieties.
The Qasimi dialect, according to the Yasser. There is a whole study. Yes, this is a Qasimi dialect. Another term is
this is a Qasimi dialect.
colonization. Is the process by which a new variety of language emerges from the mixing, leveling, and simplifying of different dialects. And the last one we will be inshallah discussing is linguistic areas, which refers to areas where several languages. These languages have a number of features in common, are spoken. So this is what is meant by linguistic areas. Here, there is actually in the beginning of this chapter a reference or a connection, or the author tries to connect between the first two chapters and this chapter. As you can see, we discussed the importance of geographical barriers, as Brother Abdullah Mahdi told us, and the distance in the development of regional dialects. Another fact is that when a linguistic innovation occurs in one area, it may subsequently spread to other areas, particularly those nearest to it, so long as no serious barriers or distance exist. An example of this phenomena or fact is, for instance, if an innovation started in London, for example, this is in the book, we expect to find it later to be used in Cambridge. This also takes place in Saudi Arabia. The linguistic innovations move from a city to the neighboring city. Sorry, Doctor. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you. It's low, but we can hear you. الله يعين عليك.
والله I'm doing my best. I'm shouting.
ما تقدر ترفع الصوت من عندك؟ خلاص هذا اللي يقول انك ما ترفع صوتك. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. A good example for a linguistic innovation that has spread geographically in England is the loss of English non-vocalic R in words like cart, car, farm, and yard. Usually, linguistic innovations are initiated by speakers in the urban towns or town centers. They also often spread initially from one urban center to another and only later reaches the countryside. And I totally agree with these sentences or these facts that the linguistic innovations come to the countryside after they have already initiated and used and in the towns. This is due to the economic, demographic, and cultural dominance of town over country, and the structure of communication network between towns. The spread of linguistic features from one area to another is therefore not always dependent on geographical proximity, due to the fact that some linguistic innovations spread faster or slower than others. So some linguistic innovations spread faster, while some others spread slower than the others. For instance, the merger of fa sound and fa sound in words such as think, which is pronounced think, is an example of linguistic innovation which spreads fast. This is mentioned in the book, as it has recently started spreading rapidly outwards from London. This map is, as you can see in this slide, it is in the book, and it is actually the second one, or map 2 in the book. I actually intendedly or purposefully avoid the first one because of the fact that mentioned by the author, because map 1 is confined to only 2 words, farm and yard. It is socially incomplete. It gives information only for rural linguistic varieties, so I didn't involve it and include it in this presentation. And this is actually the second map, or map number 2, which explains the role of cities in diffusing innovations into the surrounding countryside. And it talks about many things. It's divided into north and south, as you can see here, north and south. Corresponds to the pronunciation of words like south or top, with southern or London sound. This sound is used in London as opposed to northern or northern or the Manchester sound. Another thing that is discussed here, it can also be seen that the division in the south into east, from south into east, as you can see here. based on the retention in the southwest of non-vocalic R in words like yard. So this works at both sides, this map. Another method for spreading linguistic forms. So far we confined our attention to cases where linguistic forms spread from one person to another, as we already discussed, or from one group to another. Another method by means of which linguistic forms may spread is for speakers themselves to travel. So when a speaker travels from one country to another, this causes actually the spread of linguistic forms. These are the main facts that mentioned in this area or this part. English has been spoken for longer periods in the east of the United States than in the more recently settled west. So there is also more regional dialect variation there. So this explains why we have more or there are more regional dialect variations in the eastern part of the United States. The second one, English has been spoken in England for longer periods, approximately 1,500 years, than in America and Australia, 300 years or less. This explains why there are more regional variations in England than in America and Australia. Finally, Australia, for example, is a country as big as the USA and has yet virtually no regional dialect variation at all because it has not existed for very long and is not very populated. So these facts explain the linguistic forms spreading and discuss or clarify why England has more regional dialects, though it is smaller than America and Australia. Dialect leveling and the disappearance of regional dialects. As we already mentioned, that the meaning of dialect leveling is the process whereby differences between regional dialects disappear over time. Dialect leveling is an interesting process as it appears to be behind ongoing linguistic change in many countries. In England, however, traditional dialects are disappearing, but larger modern dialects are continuing to diverge. And these are two examples. The first one is from England. In the Merseyside area, consonants ha, and ka are becoming fricative in words such as lock, which now sound like a speaker saying lock. Another example of this point is from the United States of America. The Inland North region is featured by a change. This change is called North Cities vowel shift, which is taking it linguistically from other areas. In this change, the vowel of thought is moving to the same position where the vowel of not is used to be. Colonization and the formation of new dialects. New dialects emerge as a result of a process called colonization. A coin language means common language or general language in Greek. A coin is a dialect that develops as a result of contact between two or more mutually intelligible varieties of the same language. A coin variety emerged as a new spoken dialect in addition to the pre-existing dialect of the same language. A coin is thus not the result of a natural evolution of dialects. And this is the most interesting fact about the colonization is American, Australian, and New Zealand Englishes are believed to have been the result of colonization. Though actually the situation in the American English is difficult to construct, Australian and New Zealand Englishes are both the result of colonization of a similar mixture of similar British Isles dialects in similar portions. Geographical, social, and language barriers. We saw earlier in chapter 2 how social and geographical barriers can act to delay the spread of linguistic features and help in the development of social class and regional dialects. A third type of barrier, as mentioned in the book, which does not necessarily act to prevent the spread of linguistic innovation, is language itself. So this is the third barrier, according to Peter Sedgwill. Linguistic innovation spreads not only from one regional or social variety to another, it may also spread from one language to another. An example of this is the spread in Europe of the fashionable Russian uvular R into other languages, according to the book. The development of linguistic areas, the diffusion of linguistic innovation across language boundaries, particularly when grammar, vocabulary, and phonetics are all involved, results in the development of a linguistic area. And this is the last concept that is involved in this chapter. One of the most interesting linguistic areas in Europe is the Balkans, which involves Serbia, Macedonia, Albania, Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania. Over the centuries, languages in these countries have acquired a number of common features, sometimes known as Balkanisms, not shared by most other European languages. An example of Balkanisms is the postponed definite article. Actually, this example is from the book as well. In 4 of the Balkan languages, the article that is placed after the noun. As you can see here, the examples, and all of them mean the machine. The Indian subcontinent and Southern Africa are also good examples of areas where unrelated languages have common linguistic features. The spread of linguistic innovation, and this is considered actually as a summary. Here we can come up with this summary. Linguistic innovation spread from one dialect or language to another geographically neighboring dialect or language. As spreading of a linguistic innovation takes place across language boundaries, linguistic areas are formed. Broadly speaking, it appears that only grammatical and phonological features require geographical proximity to diffuse. Finally, lexical items appear to spread across language regardless the proximity through lexical parallels.
And not only Tehama, but it's in Rijal Alma, I'm sure. Al-Habil, Al-Batila, and the Sha'bin. They will make very good examples because they used to have a geographical barrier, a huge mountain, before that tunnel took place. And this is why I told many people from this area, why didn't you try to look at this? Especially we still have some older people living who lived before the tunnel and after the tunnel. And that geographical barrier might have a big influence. Now we might be going to some form of dialect leveling. They belong to the same tribe to a certain extent, they belong to different sub-tribes, but for centuries they have this very strong geographical barrier. Although both groups belong to the Tehami dialects, okay, or dialects, group of dialects. It's not only a dialect. I'm sure Abdullah Jabir would recognize somebody from Barik or from Hayal or from different places that there are certain dialectal features or sociolinguistic features that could be recognized among those speakers of these dialects. People outsiders may not really notice the difference. But it's a good place for dialect leveling. I adapt to you. This is something that has to do with my personality. I don't think it has to do with changing the process of communication within a community. Although there is an influence that I might disagree even with the author in saying it's usually the urban areas that affect the suburbs. لكن our society is not true. أسحب عليك مدري شو هياط كلمات بدوية جدا. They came from the suburbs and they have been adapted commonly and used. طبعا there is a generation gap that people of different age groups may not have access to all these expressions. The change is not always, this is what I would agree with urban areas, although they play a role. They do play a role. They do play a role, but it could be mutual. Could be even from suburbs. And there has been, I don't know, at different levels. طبعا we have some dialect that it's a matter, the level of mutual understanding. Hanan asked me a question. The level of mutual intelligibility differs. Okay, but sometimes it's 100. It never reaches 100%, even in when you speak the same dialect, the same language, the same house. Okay, a breakdown in communication could take place for many reasons. But mutual intelligibility is not yes or no, plus or minus. It's a matter of a continuum. So that is among dialects. Sometimes in some dialects you understand 70%. Some dialects 50%, 30%. It varies regardless in relationship to the similarity level among these dialects. But what I'm saying, it's not always a one-way influence in innovation, in leveling, whatever. Okay, many factors do play. Many factors do play.